In this part, we'll be looking at creating a subnet and then making it public to the internet. And we'll be trying to reach out to the machines which we'll be deploying in that subnet and understand more about how the networks are arranged within an AWS cloud. So let's go to the VPC section, and here we have this VPC. So this is our VPC, and now we'll be creating a subnet. So you go to subnet, and you can see by default what kind of configurations are there in subnet. So it is assigned to a VPC. There are route tables, which are usually the ones which are shared with the VPC. So if you see 01EE, this route table with the default VPC's route table, 01EE, you'll see that it's the same route table which is attached, the same network ACL which is attached to the subnets. Okay, so let's create subnets in this VPC, which we have just deployed. If I go to subnet and I do create subnet, I can pick this VPC where we want to create subnets, and then it can be inside hacks public subnet. Availability zone, I've taken up East 1A, and the CIDR block can be this one, because this is this one. This will allow 16 IP addresses or something. And let's create a subnet. You see that a subnet is being created. It has been created. And if you go here, you'll see it is attached to the route tables and network ACL. And right now, there's nothing in this subnet which will be, apart from the name, which will show that it is public, because it has no route and it cannot be currently reached from the internet. And we can test it out. So let's go to EC2 and create an instance. Now you can pick up any instance and any micro. For now, we just want to have one instance in our VPC, and the subnet which is available is just this one. So 11 IP addresses are available. And use subnet setting, auto assign public IP. So you'll say that auto assigning public IP is disabled, but I can enable it here. And host name type, you can leave the rest of the things as is. And see, it'll create a new network interface here. And rest of the things can be as it is. Now, if you review and launch it, you can see that the instance is now launching, and you can go here and see the instance state, whether it's launched or not. Okay, so you'll see that the instance is launched now. And if you click on the instance, since we picked up assigning a public IP, it has been assigned a public IP. So now let's go ahead and try to ping this public IP. But you'll see that the request is timed out. And why is that happening? It is in a subnet. The network ACL shows that every traffic is allowed. And the security group also shows that all the traffic is allowed. But then why is the ping not going through? So the answer is that this VPC right now and the subnet within it is not public. And when I say it's not public, it means that anyone on the internet cannot reach to this instance. And similarly, the traffic from this instance cannot go out. Let's try to connect the instance. So we are not able to connect the instance because it says that your instance's network settings are configured correctly for EC2 instance connect. So configuring network access to an instance, right? In order to access, you should allow this. And if users will access instance over internet, then instance must have public IP and be in a public subnet, right? And how do you make it a public subnet? So currently, If a subnet is associated with the route table that is a route to the internet gateway, then it is a public subnet. So now you'll see that we are not able to do this, and this is happening because our subnet is not public yet. So if I go to the subnet and if I go to routes, you'll see that in routes there is no route for internet gateway. So let's add that. Let's add a route to the internet gateway. But before doing that, we would need to create an internet gateway. So presently we have this internet gateway, but it is linked or attached to this internet gateway. So let's do that. Let's go to internet gateway and create an internet gateway, and it is infinite hats internet gateway. And you can create an internet gateway. So you've created an internet gateway, but it's detached right now. And the owner is pretty much the account number. And I have not used this internet gateway anyway, right? So now what I will do is attach this internet gateway. So if I click here and if I do attached to a VPC, so I'll select a VPC, which is Infinite Hacks here. So I've attached the internet gateway with the VPC. Now I have attached it, but that does not mean that the internet gateway will be added to the routes automatically. So if you go to VPC, then if you see the routes, you'll see that the route table is still not showing internet gateway added to the route. So that is what we will be changing. But note that instead of doing it in the default route table, which gets attached to every subnet, I'll create a different route table itself. So I'll create Infinite Hacks public subnet routes, and in this VPC, so it is another route table. And when you create a route table, you can see that this is by default added, but there's one more route that we will be adding in this. And that route would be, if there is any traffic to the internet, it should go through the internet gateway. And which one? This one, because this is internet gateway, which is attached to VPC. This is the one that we just created, so it's showing up here. So you click here and then you save changes. So now this is added. So you can interact locally and you can interact to the internet through internet gateway if this route table is used. But how to make sure that this route table is used? So that is how you do it. You'll go to the subnets, and this is the one which is public subnet within our VPC, but it's using this route table. So what we will do is edit the route table association. Now you can edit anything, subnet settings, network ACL associations, side reservations. Side reservations can also be edited, which is cool. So let's just edit the route table association here. So the route table I'll be using is, rather than the main route table or the default route table as we're calling it, we'll be using the public subnet routes. So now both of them are added and we click on save. Now, once we have done this and we have an instance already running, so now let's try to ping that instance again. And you see that it's still timed out. Try to SSH it. You'll see that we are able to SSH into this, right? Which is very cool. So why are we not able to ping to that instance? Let's revisit that fact. So if I go to the EC2 instances, this one is running, and it is running in our public subnet, which now has an access to internet. And it has like a to and fro access, like the traffic can go out from this machine to the internet and the traffic can come in from this machine to the internet. And we can check it by, say, ping if I just do this, we're able to ping it, right? So from the machine, I'm able to ping an external website which is not hosted in that environment. This shows that there is a traffic outside the internet, and the very fact that we are able to connect this machine through SSL shows that this has connection from internet. So it's very well working, and the internet gateway that you just deployed is working now, which is awesome. But one thing that we still need to solve is that why am I not able to ping it? And that might be, we can try to debug it by having a look at the security rules. So the security group which is attached, right, is this one. And if you go to the inbound rules, which is incoming traffic, it is just SSH. So what if I do custom, like all ICMP, and I allow it from everywhere, and I just say the rule. Let me now try and ping it again. And you'll see that now we are able to ping the EC2 instance. And why was that happening? Because the default is G. The security group was not allowing pings, but now it is. So having said that, maybe you would just want to keep it that way because a lot of scanning and everything happens. So I'll just delete the rule. Okay, so far so good. We have our VPC. We have one subnet, which is a public subnet inside the VPC. And we have an EC2 instance deployed inside the VPC. Now we are able to ping that EC2 instance. We are able to do SSH on that EC2 instance. Now the things that we would try to play around with is network ACLs and security groups.